What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? How are you all feeling tonight, man? We are here with a new case, with a new situation going on that a lot of people, are just catching on to, and I just want to try to see if we can unpack a few things, and go from there. Is that Holly Naomi in the building? What up, though? Good to see you in the building. Let's go ahead and just show love real quick. Definitely appreciate you being here tonight. Of course, we got the mod of all mods. We got Chill in the building tonight. Want to say thank you for coming through as well. Of course, you're actually here. But anyways, man, we are so good to be here tonight, man. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? We are definitely about to get into this case tonight. Man, it's been a long day today. I don't know about you all, but it's been somewhat of a long day. I was in the office, then I went from the office and worked the rest of the day at home. And I'm like, man, this feels a little bit better to do it that way. At work, I wasn't feeling the best. For some reason, I don't know if it's something in the office in the air, man, but I know what happened after that. After I left and everything, after I was on my way home and I got some fresh air, I started feeling a little bit better. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm pretty okay now that I'm at home. You know what I'm saying? So I was legit not feeling well at first. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, I needed to get out of that office, man. There's a lot of people in that office that have been sick for real. And I'm just like, I do not want to be one of those people, man. So I'm going to leave before anything happens. I am not going to try to remedy this thing after the fact. I want to do it. I want to be proactive. I want to be preventive. So before that even happens, I want to make sure that I'm on point and that I'm good to go. You know what I'm saying? So definitely had to make sure I did a little skedaddle, you know what I'm saying? I definitely did a little skedaddle and out the office, and I came home. I wanted to rest and rest myself a little bit and work from home and stuff. And I was all right. I felt okay. But we are here. We are in the building, man. It is football week still. It is still football week. We got the divisional rounds coming up this Saturday and Sunday. We got Bears, the 49ers and Seahawks, Bears, Rams. You got Texans and Patriots, Bills, Broncos. Is about to be bananas this weekend. Those of you that are here, welcome to Tay-Biz TV. I'm your host, Tay-Biz, and I am so happy that you have come by to see your boy, to see what's going on with us. We're going to get some people to come on in. But if you can, drop your favorite team. If your team is in the playoffs, if your team is in the playoffs right now, go ahead and drop the team name right now, man. Just go ahead and drop the team name real quick. You know what I'm saying? If your team is in the playoffs, go ahead and drop their names real quick. All right. Go ahead and drop their names real quick. If your team is in the playoffs, go ahead and hook it up. Go ahead and put your team in there. You know what I'm saying? Put your team in there. Go ahead and put your team in there. I want to see what's going on. Of course. We already talked about this last time. Seattle Seahawks. It's my wife. She loves Seattle Seahawks. I ain't gonna say why and all that kind of stuff. Last time, they was like, no, she really loves it. She really loves Seahawks. I'm like, no, I really know why she loves them. But I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna keep it G. Keep it G. You know what I'm saying? But it's the Seattle Seahawks, man. Number one team in the NFC. Look, put some respect, put some spec on it. All right? I put some respect on you guys. Good defense, good offense. Really can't go wrong. You're facing a depleted 49ers team. However, they're not depleted in coaching, and they're not depleted in game plan, because they had a fire game plan towards the Eagles. I don't know what happened to the Eagles. Well, we kind of know what happened to the Eagles. A lot of drop passes, but we digress. And things of that nature. But I'm telling you, it is something about this Brock Purdy that scares everybody, but they don't want to say it. They don't want to say it, but Brock Purdy will scare you. In a game like this, he's been in these situations plenty of times already. from his rookie season to now, he's been in situations where he had to step up. He had to step up with and without Deebo Samuel. There was one year without Deebo Samuel and without Christian McCaffrey, he wasn't really performing that well. But the defense was also lacking. This time it's not lacking. The 49ers defense. The 49ers defense has stepped their game up. Trikisha in the building. What up, though? They have stepped their game up. All right. Robert Saleh has the 49ers defense looking fantastic, looking good. I'm actually glad that Trikisha's in the building because I know, if you follow her on X, she's a Ravens fan. She bleeds purple. Mm-hmm. See, there it is. Purple and black. There it is. She loved the Ravens. And for 18 years, there's a particular gentleman who led the Ravens to many AFC divisional championships, to many playoff appearances, playoff wins, AFC championship, Super Bowl championship. One man by the name of John Harbaugh, who is now going to be the head coach for the New York Football Giants, where they have a young Jackson Dart and a young Cam Scatterboo and a young Malik Neighbors and a young Abdul Carter. This situation that John Harbaugh has put himself in is that there is an expectation of some sort that perhaps he will at some point get the New York Football Giants at least to a playoff appearance or at least be competitive in the NFC East. You got the Dallas Cowboys, the New York Football Giants, you have the Philadelphia Eagles, and you have another young man by the name of Jaden Daniels who plays for the Washington Commanders, who have already solidified themselves in the last 2 years. Not this year, but last year they solidified themselves as contenders of the NFC East. John Harbaugh will now be the head coach of the New York Giants. I'm going to be honest with you all. I did not see that coming. This is not a football show. Not this episode. This episode is not a football episode, but I'm definitely want to talk about some stuff when it comes to the NFL, man. We got games on Saturday. Hopefully I could try to do something tomorrow night before the games come on. Because I want to get some predictions. I want to get all kinds of stuff. I want to talk about some stuff, man. I've been trying to get some fellas to roll with me and some people to roll with me on the show, man. I haven't got no responses, but that's all right. It's all good. Nevertheless, I'm not going to delay the time any further because it is a Thursday night. It is Friday Eve. We are here to talk about a particular gentleman that goes by the name of Michael McKee, who has been accused and arrested of shooting and unaliving his ex-wife and her husband, Spencer and Monique Tepe. All right. It is time to get started. All right. It is time to get started. I'm not going to delay the time any further. Let's go ahead and get it in. Let's go. All right. This is the gentleman. This is Michael McKee. Michael McKee is a surgeon from Chicago, according to reports. He is 39 years old. He is the ex-husband of one young lady by the name of Monique Tepe. They were married in 2015 and got a divorce in 2017. And the cause and grounds for the divorce was incompatibility. Okay. I was able to see the divorce decree. I was not able to get a copy of it though. If you would like to help your boy out at any time with not just content suggestions and not just reaction videos, but even if you got information on certain cases that I talk about, please email me at taybiztv@gmail.com. Michael McKee is arrested for the alleged murders. Now, also recently, I believe this is on the 12th, he had made a court appearance for extradition, waiving his rights. So he will be extradited, if not already, to the city of Ohio where this murder took place. It took place in a suburb in Columbus, Ohio. The suburb is called Wayland Park in Columbus, Ohio. And I believe that it is a 325-mile hike from Chi-Town to Columbus. What up, though, KP? KP said, level up. Let's go. Everybody like and share this video, man. Everybody like and share this live. I'm trying to get back into the algorithm. It's gonna take me a little minute, man. It ain't like it used to be. I had been off for a little while, so it ain't like it used to be. However, anyway, I digress. This gentleman was mentioned as a person by others who witnessed their marriage, as a person who seemed to be somewhat controlling and has the potential to go off the rails at times. However, the divorce decree that happened in 2017, I believe, allegedly, and according to witnesses and things of that nature who witnessed this marriage, that he had a tendency to maybe follow her and try to figure out where she was at from time to time. This is when things were fresh out the grease, out the frying pan. All right. Now, then she gets remarried to a man by the name of Spencer Tepe, who I believe is a dentist. Okay. The marriage took place between Michael McKee and Monique Tepe. The marriage took place in Virginia. And between the two of them, he is the only one that stayed, according to reports. So now we have this gentleman who has been arrested, and not only arrested, but also extradited to Columbus, Ohio. Okay. Now, before we get into the actual court appearance and things of that nature, I want to let you know this. He is charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder, premeditated. Okay. So that's 2 premeditated murder counts that he is being charged with. There is a video. We will get into this very soon. There is a video of him, allegedly, of him walking past the home in the wintertime. And it's cold. I mean, it's cold. This particular situation happened on December the 30th, which is like, wow. You know, I just celebrated my birthday on December 30th, and I'm like, what is going on here? Right. There was the Columbus police were called on a well-being check around 10 o'clock in the morning on the 1400 block of North 4th Street after co-workers and friends reported that they had not heard from the couple. So December 30th is not when the murder actually took place, but when the phone call took place, where there were no signs of this couple anywhere. And they want to do a wellness check, like a well-being check, right? So we're going to get into the timelines of when things started. So that means that it means it happened before December 30th. Absolutely. Crazy stuff. Okay. Go ahead, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe. Make sure you participate in the chat. Let's get this algorithm boosted up. Now, Mr. McKee was again allegedly seen on this video. However, something interesting about this that took place causes some questions for me that I just want some answers to. And so I'm like, how did he know after all these years? How did he know and pinpoint exactly where she lived? You know, what was your motivation for driving 325 miles away from where you live, which is Chicago, not too far from Rockford, Illinois? You drive all the way there to commit this particular crime. Not only were the bodies found at this home, but I've read some reports that they have 2 children, and those children were there unharmed. We're going to get into this. We are definitely going to get into this. All right. I want to go ahead and get into the timeline of things on this and start here first before we get into the actual, because I want to get into the actual press conference of the police, I believe the mayor, and things of that nature. Okay, I want to get into this. I want to go ahead and blow this up just a little bit more. All right, I'm gonna drop down the comments for right now so we can all take a look at this. Okay. All right. Here we go. So Columbus police were called on a well-being check around 10 a.m. in the 1400 block of North 4th Street after co-workers and friends reported that they had not heard from the couple. Officers later found Spencer and Monique dead inside the residence. Okay. This is crazy. Several co-workers of Spencer, a dentist who practiced at a clinic in Athens, called 911 after he failed to show up for work and could not be reached. Callers told dispatchers the lack of contact was out of character and raised concerns that something may have happened to the family. According to 911 calls released by authorities, co-workers reported being unable to reach either Spencer or Monique, and said the situation was becoming increasingly concerning. Police initially checked the home, but did not see anything suspicious. Additional 911 calls were made as co-workers and friends gathered at the house, reporting they could hear children inside, but were unable to get anyone to answer the door. Okay. Investigators said no weapon was found at the scene, and there were no signs of forced entry. This is very interesting no weapon, no signs of forced entry, unharmed children, but a couple is not, no one is answering the door. Okay. This is just like this is the kind of stuff that's like in a movie. Okay, like what evidence do you have right now? You come into a crime scene, you go to the crime scene, and you don't see anything. You don't see anything suspicious or at all. But you also are getting a wellness check about a couple who, at the end of the day, is not answering their phones, is out of their character to do this. Very interesting. According to a Columbus police report, detectives found spent 9mm shell casings at the scene. 9mm shell casings. On January 2nd, Columbus police began seeking the public's help, asking that anyone who may have video, photos, or any other digital evidence related to the incidents to submit it using a specialized QR code. The area in question ranged from Summit Street to North Grant Avenue and East 7th Avenue to East 11th Avenue. The initial time frame police were interested in was midnight to 9 a.m. on December 30th. Later that day, Spencer and Monique's family released a statement. Now, here's the full statement of the family. All right. Our family is devastated by the tragic and senseless loss of Spencer and Monique. They were extraordinary people whose lives were filled with love, joy, and deep connection to others. Spencer was a devoted and proud father, a loving partner, and a friend to everyone he met. He was intelligent, warm, and endlessly welcoming. A graduate of The Ohio State University and a member of the American Dental Association, Spencer was fluent in Spanish and deeply committed to serving others. He gave back through Big Brothers and Big Sisters, a huge Bengals and Buckeyes fan, of course. He's from Ohio, wouldn't have no other way, right? And lived life with energy, laughter, and generosity. Monique was a loving, patient, and joyful mother whose warmth defined her. With a background in childhood education, she brought care and intention into everything she did. She was an excellent baker, a thoughtful planner, and someone who found joy in bringing people together. Her kindness made people feel instantly at home. Together, Spencer and Monique shared a beautiful, strong, and deeply happy relationship. They loved to travel, to laugh, and to build a life rooted in love. They were proud parents of two beautiful children. Proud parents of two beautiful children and their beloved golden doodle. And they created a home filled with warmth, happiness, and connection. We are brokenhearted beyond words. While no outcome can ever undo this loss, our family is committed to seeing this tragedy fully and fairly brought to justice and to honoring Spencer and Monique by protecting the future of the children they loved so deeply. This is the statement that the family made concerning this couple, and our hearts go out to this family. That happened on January the 2nd. On January the 5th, police released video of a person of interest in the case. They said the individual was walking in an alley near Spencer and Monique's home between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., which narrowed their timeline in question. And we will see that video at some point in this live. Okay. The footage does not clearly show the person's face. Here we go. And I've seen the footage and it doesn't. Basically, the person is wearing a hoodie all the way down to the point where you don't see anything. As a matter of fact, I believe when I saw the video, I saw their hands inside of the hoodie's pockets, the pockets of the hoodie. So we don't even know what the ethnicity of the person could potentially be as well, or skin tone, or any type of descriptive uh defined characteristic at all. You know, we know that the person is kind of tall, and they had a certain kind of walk though that was pretty like, okay, that's a different type of walk. And again, I will let you all assess this when you all see this video. This is crazy. The footage does not clearly show the person's face, but investigators hoped someone could recognize their clothing, mannerisms, or the way the person walks. There we go. Again, this walk was distinctive. And I looked at it, I'm like, yo, he walked like you could tell who he is. You feel me? Off rip. January the 8th, Columbus Division of Police Chief Elaine Bryant spoke about the investigation for the first time. Bryant shared the latest details in the investigation, including what happened in the initial welfare check of the Tempes. The next day, on the 9th, the obituary and funeral arrangements were released for Spencer and Monique. Their families remembered the couple as the life of the party and generous with kind hearts. January the 12th, here we go. McKee appeared in court in Winnebago County, where he waived his extradition hearing. He will be transported to Ohio to be arraigned on his charges in Franklin County. His public defender indicated he plans to plead not guilty. This is where it gets interesting. He's going to plead not guilty. Now, remember, I want you to be very clear here. Okay. The reason why he specifically got arrested was because, according to reports, according to the investigation, according to police, the GPS on his vehicle was parked close, nearby, or behind the house of Spencer and Monique Tepe, which is the reason why I asked the question, how did he know and the exact pinpoint address of where they live? Like, yes, I know we live in the age of technology and you can get an address off the internet, but to get something that personal, you have to go past a few security steps. I'm an IT person. I know what I'm talking about, okay? I'm just trying to figure out what security steps did this go through, right? This N-word. What did he go through? What steps did he take to get through to find out where she lived? I'm just trying to figure out his savviness of what he was doing. Okay, we talking about 2017 all the way until now. So we talking almost 10 years. We talking 9 years. We're gonna say 8 because everything happened in December. So this is an 8-year, close to a decade situation where he is no longer having any communication with this woman that we know of. All right. And so they have 2 kids, they have moved on and everything. So the kids got to be young. I mean, they got to be at least within the range of 1 to 8. I mean, or 1 to 7 or 1 to 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? So this is a relationship that probably I would suspect that this is a relationship that probably was going on while she was separated from this man and trying to get this divorce. This wasn't no like, oh, I met this brand new guy after I got divorced in 2017. Then I got married and had 2 kids. Like, no. Nah. There was this relationship, something in this marriage was not right. Okay, this is a very fast process. Now, it kind of reminds me of the young lady who Cassie, and the guy that she, the trainer or whatever. That relationship was brewing. Like, they were talking, they talked to each other, all the kinds of stuff. They're married now, they got a kid, she got pregnant. Like, listen, like, people move on, man. And sometimes people move on while they're still in something. You don't think they'd have moved on, but they done moved on. and you thinking everything is cool. You still getting the groceries, you still paying the bills, you moving on like everything is fine. And then next thing you know, this person is like, yo, this is over with. Now, you know, in the situation, now, you know, when a relationship is not good. Something about this relationship was not good. 2015, and you get divorced in 2017, something ain't right. The grounds was incompatibility. Something wasn't right. However, even in the midst of something not being right, even in the midst of something not being right, I still have questions because motive is my main question. Why would he do this? Right? So we need the motive, and we don't have it yet. Another thing we don't have is the how. Like, how did he do this? Okay. How did he do this? How do you know? You know it's his car, but how do you know it was him driving his car there? You know it's his car, but how did you know it was him in the car? All right. So how? What evidence, fingerprint did you leave? You went to the crime scene and said there was nothing suspicious. Then you got another 911 call saying we hear kids in the house. That's when you came out and you had to go deeper into the situation because kids is involved now. So kids levels up. They level up the urgency. Okay. So there's no fingerprints. You got shell cases of a gun. You don't have any evidence that this man owns a gun. Okay. So you have no fingerprint. You don't have a motive. You don't have a definitive he was driving the car, even though it's his car, because there's a possibility somebody can drive your car and do their own thing with it. We got plenty of friends like that. We let them borrow our car. They're like, I'm gonna go to the store, be right back. Then they go to the store, then they go to this chick house. They do all kind of stuff. Okay. And by the time they say be right back, it's over an hour. That ain't be right back, dog. Okay. So that's that. Now we're gonna go to the when. When did he leave his house? When did he leave his residence? And you saw a path that went to this house in Columbus. When was he working that day? Did he get off early? Was he moving suspiciously or circumspectly? It's more to it than just being like, oh, the GPS shows us that it was his car at their house. He's under arrest. That can go left real quick. You can mess up a case like that if you don't thoroughly do your due diligence, man. And again, I always talk about prosecutors on this channel. They have a tendency to be super lazy when it comes to investigations. It's amazing how people, the court of public opinion, be right more times than the actual jury and prosecutors. Sometimes they get it right, sometimes they don't. And it depends on where you live. The success rate of the prosecution of where you live. But a lot of times, the prosecutors just go off the investigation of the police, and the investigators, the detectives, the lead detectives and the lead investigators, they be lazy than a mug. We saw that in the YSL case. The YSL trial is probably going to be one of the most studied trials of all times when it comes to lawyering on what not to do. All right. Very, very interesting how they got to him being the suspect. They had a rocky marriage. It was terrible. Obviously, according to the divorce decree, according to a lot of other people that knew the couple, she was not happy. Monique was not happy with him. He showed signs of, hey, he could be controlling that time. So that is a clear sign that, hey, man, you got some issues. There is a show on Netflix called Runaway. It's a Harlan Coben novelty series. And in the first episode, for those that may watch it or may not watch it, but I just want to talk about a quote or a part of the scene. There's a part of the episode where the father tells the officer the officer is accusing the father of the murder of this particular person. The father tells the detective, like, hey, yes, did I hate him? Yes. Did I wish he would just crawl over and die? Yes. Did I wish blah, 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 whatever? Yes. But I did not do it. And there's a lot of people who have it in their heart how they feel about somebody, but they won't act on it. I don't know we don't have any idea of this man's motivation. Okay. However, there are a few things we're going to look at that's like, okay, man, but you was moving a little bit weird a few times. All right. And we're going to get into it. But first, I would like to go ahead and get into the press conference that occurred recently. Okay. And I want to go ahead and see if we can maybe figure some out through this as well. All right. Here is I believe this is the police chief, Elaine Bryant, and I believe the mayor is there as well. And they're both going to be speaking. And let's take a look and let's take a listen to what she has to say to give us a little bit more clarity on this case.
1400 block of North 4th Street on a well-being check. Officers arrived at the scene and located the two adult victims suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. We now know that they were identified as Mr. Spencer Tepe and Mrs. Monique Tepe. Their two small children were also found in the residence physically unharmed. On January 10th, 2026, detectives filed warrants charging Michael D. McKee, 39, with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of Spencer and Monique Tepe. Mr. McKee was arrested in Rockford, Illinois without incident. He's currently incarcerated in the Winnebago County Jail and awaiting extradition to Columbus. We believe at this point, we have the person responsible for the murders of Monique and Spencer Tepe in custody, and that person is Michael McKee. This is still an active and ongoing investigation. Detectives are still going through evidence, tips, and videos. We can't speak to all the specific details related to this case, so we don't want to jeopardize the ultimate goal of conviction. But what we can say, this was a targeted attack. This was a domestic violence related attack. As we know, McKee is the ex-husband of Monique Tepe. We can say that we have the suspect's vehicle on neighborhood video surveillance arriving just before the murders and leaving shortly after. Detectives were able to link this vehicle to McKee. The vehicle was located in Rockford, Illinois, and evidence was found that showed McKee in possession of the vehicle before and after the homicides. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee, and there is a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides. Rockford, Illinois, and evidence was found that showed McKee in possession of the vehicle before and after the homicides. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee, and there is a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I apologize. So you were able to conduct ballistics. How was you able to do ballistics? How were you able to do ballistics? Okay. When it comes to the weapons, obviously you discovered this weapon after you arrested McKee. You arrested McKee. You go to McKee's home. Then you find weapons in his home. And you find a weapon that is linked to, I'm assuming, if I have this right, I'm assuming she's referring to the shell casings, the 9mm shell casings. What other links she has not mentioned anything about fingerprints yet. So I haven't seen this whole thing. But as we're listening, I'm just thinking like, okay, I want something. When you say a direct link, what do you mean by that? Okay. Are you saying you got fingerprints on the gun that links to him? And how did you get those fingerprints after you arrested him? You know, like I just want to know what's going on. All right, here we go.
I want to say that our detectives work around the clock to be able to solve this case. But it's equally important to know that while this is gaining national attention, we work around the clock to solve all of our homicide cases. I'd like to bring the mayor up now to have him say a few words.
What are they gonna do with anything? This is already not going right. Can I go back just a little bit more? No, I ain't gonna go back a little bit more. Maybe a couple minutes. But this don't sound right. She ended with that. She ended with, we found weapons at his house that's linked directly to him. Okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, I just want y'all to know that we work around the clock. What does that have to do with? We would hope so. I mean, this shouldn't be brand new news. I would love for my police department to work around the clock when you got a case where 2 people are murdered and their kids is in there. Yes, I want you to work around the clock for them. Yes. Why are you saying this to us? Is it me or did that sound political? Put a 1 in the chat if you think it's political statement that she made at the end, because I don't understand that. Put a 2 if you don't think so. But if you think that was a political shot, put a 1, because I don't understand what that has to do with. Don't be like, okay, we work around the clock, so trust us. We know what we're doing. We know we got our guy. No, you got to give us more than that. This man is about to plead. This man is pleading not guilty, y'all.
We know McKee is the ex-husband of Monique Tepe. We can say that we have the suspect's vehicle on neighborhood video surveillance arriving just before the murders and leaving shortly after. Detectives were able to link this vehicle to McKee. The vehicle was located in Rockford, Illinois, and evidence was found that showed McKee in possession of the vehicle before and after the homicides. We can also say that multiple weapons were taken from the property of McKee. And there is a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides. I want to say that our detectives work around the clock to be able to solve this case. But it's equally important to know that while this is gaining national attention, we work around the clock to solve all of our homicide cases. I'd like to bring the mayor up now to have him say a few words.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you all for joining us this morning. I want to thank Chief Bryant, the women and men of the homicide division who have done an incredible job on this case and so many other cases, 100 cases solved in 2025 because of their tireless work and professionalism. And
I hate when people do this. Oh my God. Will you stop fluffing me around, dude? Will you stop? Why are you even talking anyway? You're not an officer. You're not anybody of importance right now, man. Jeez, oh Pete. I can't stand when people do this. You know who does this a lot? I'm going to say this and shut up. You know who does this a lot? Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is the king of setting you up with all the fluff just to be negative right after that. If you listen to Stephen A. Smith, even his takes on football and basketball and everything, we know LeBron James is a loving father. We know he's a all-time scorer of the basketball. He's a 4-time NBA champion. He's a 4-time finals MVP. But he ain't Michael Jordan. You're like, you said all that just to discredit him right after that. It's like, why you just can't say that and let it be that? This is what this mayor just did, dog.
Tips and information from the community that helped us achieve such incredible solve rates. I want to thank also members of the press for sharing timely information, including the video footage of the person of interest that we know now is Mr. McKee. Members of the community for supporting CPD's investigation and for continuing to pray and support the Tepe family, particularly these little children. Just want to take a moment to express gratitude, grief, and resolve, not only for myself, but for the entire Columbus community. Grateful to the Division of Police for their professionalism and persistence, and for their tireless work and collaboration that led to this arrest. You followed the facts and evaluated every credible lead with intentionality, integrity, and care for the victims and their families. I also want to thank members of the community who stepped forward with video footage and tips. Like so many cases CPD solved in 2025, the public helped us work this case. It's a clear example of how public safety is strongest when police and community are working together. I'm encouraged by the cooperation that continues to grow between our police and our residents. I pray this collaboration will help us prevent violent crime from happening in the first place, but it's also a powerful, powerful tool for solving crime when it does occur. The tips that were submitted in this case mattered, and I'm grateful to the residents and businesses who shared information. As Chief described, this was a targeted domestic violence attack that resulted in the deaths of 2 people and irreparably changed the lives of their children, families, colleagues, and friends. Our hearts remain with Spencer and Monique, their loved ones, and especially the children impacted by this unimaginable loss. As this case now moves through the criminal justice process, we'll continue to respect this investigation and allow investigators and prosecutors to do their work. As Chief said, we will not do or say anything that will compromise the likelihood of a conviction. One thing we can still offer this family is the best possible chance at a conviction and justice for this unspeakable crime. We could also continue to lift up this family in our thoughts and prayers. I will continue to lift up every one of the 84 families that lost a loved one due to violence in 2025. And I know the Chief and the Division of Police will too, in their thoughts and their actions. I know this case has taken on national interest, but I want to tell each of these families, these 84 families, CPD pursues every case with the same intensity, commitment, and resolve. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, sir. We'll take any questions at this time.
Chief, can you comment on a motive in this case? I mean, why did he allegedly kill Monique and Spencer and also leave the children alive?
At this time, we cannot comment on the motive. Again, part of the investigation.
Did you find
It's not part of the investigation. You don't have a motive. Just tell the truth. You don't have a motive. That was a good question by this reporter.
We'll take any questions at this time.
Chief, can you comment on a motive in this case? I mean, why did he allegedly kill Monique and Spencer and also leave the children alive?
At this time, we cannot comment on the motive. Again, part of the investigation.
Did you find any other evidence in this home in Lincoln Park?
What I can tell you is that we did search his property and we have evidence, but I can't speak to any specific evidence.
Can you tell us which police agency arrested him and where he was taken into custody in Rockford?
Sure. This case is a great example of partnerships. So our partners with Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, federal agents, took him into custody very close to his place of employment.
What can you tell us about McKee's whereabouts between the day of the crime and the day he was picked up?
Part of the investigation, unfortunately, as we talked about, we're not able to share specifics, but what we can tell you is that we have evidence that he was there during that during the time of the actual.
Yeah, we know. We know. We read the reports. We know that you going by the GPS of the vehicle. Let me tell you something. I was talking to my wife, and we was talking about this case, and she said something that was very, very interesting. She was like, if this man is driving from Chicago all the way to Columbus, he got to go through some tolls. And the tolls will snap your face quick, fast. Now, this is why I hate fluff. If you know that you got snapshots of this man's face driving through a toll road or a toll highway where it's in the direction of where the murder is taking place or did take place, you wouldn't share that? If you're going to do the political thing and make yourself look good, you wouldn't say that? Why wouldn't you say that? Why wouldn't you say, according to our investigation that we thoroughly dig deep into because we investigate all of our murder cases, we were able to discover that in a toll, while he was driving through one of the toll roads, they took a snapshot of his face, and it is definitively Michael McKee. What's so hard about saying that? Fellas, if your woman catch you cheating, you best believe she got every receipt. She got every receipt possible. When she know that you cheating. Now, I ain't talking about when she speculating and trying to figure it out, because sometimes they be wrong as two left shoes. But when she know, so where was you at last night? I was with Dave. Well, no, I called Dave. Actually, I called Dave's wife, and Dave was at home playing Battlefield 6. Where was you at? Like, it's going to go down. You ain't going to be able to lie your way out of it, bro. She caught you red-handed. I went to find my iPhone, and I saw you was at some address called blah, 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 blah. Listen, man, you was in the location of blah, 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 blah. I'm telling you. So this is I'm saying this to say this. This is a woman who is not given a lot of information, which is puzzling to me. Because when you definitively know something, you say it. If your car was found at the house of your ex-wife and her husband, when you're moments before and after the shooting, then that means they could track where you were driving from. And if you were driving from Chicago, where he lives, if you saw the thumbnail, you'll see that I had to dox it, but I have the doxing part is his address. It's an apartment in Illinois, in Chicago. If you drove from Chicago to Columbus and you had to drive through some roads that you have to toll pay, bruh, y'all didn't get no snapshots, or he just drove. Even if you driving past the toll machine, they still snap you, and they take your picture, they take your license plate and everything. And then next thing you know, in the mail, you got a ticket. You have a toll receipt saying, hey, you need to pay $15 for driving through these tolls and whatever. Like, why would you listen? Jerkeisha, you on it. They release him walking. There you go. See, this is why I love Biz Nation, man. Everybody put Biz Nation in the chat. This is why I love Biz Nation. Instead of them releasing a photo of this man who probably, if he's going from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio. You had to go through a toll route, bro. It ain't no other way. It ain't no other way, bro. They got no snapshot of this man at all. No license plate, nothing. But you got a video of some random dude who walked weird with a hoodie on, not showing any identity at all. You release that instead of releasing the main thing, which is, did he drive through a toll? I told my wife, I said, you know what, you smart. You smart. You smart. Now, just to disclose this real quick. My wife's father's from Illinois. So she's very familiar with how that area is. And she put me on. I'm like, you know what? This makes me even more sketchy on their investigation. You looked at the fact that his car was at the house between this time and this time, and then all of a sudden you like, he did it. It was him. And we found weapons at his crib after the fact. Oh, it was him. Not a fingerprint, not a DNA, not a nothing. Ballistics. I want to see the ballistics report, okay? Did you find his picture on a toll route to Columbus, huh? When we went to go see my father-in-law in Joliet, bruh, we told, nigga. Okay, you had to pay a toll, man. Ain't no getting around it. So I'm just confused as to how you don't have no extra information to give us. December 30th to January the 12th is when he had the court hearing. He had the actual, I believe the actual issued warrant was on the 11th or the 10th or 11th, something like that. They arrest him. The next day, he's in court doing an extradition hearing. He waives his extradition. He's like, I'm just gonna go, but I'm pleading not guilty. God, no. I'm just saying, it's a little bit. The investigation ain't making sense to me. Although I know we in the beginning stage of this thing, but it's still not making sense to me.
Homicides.
You said there were no signs.
I'm sorry. Let me go back a little bit.
Let me go back a little bit. The day of the crime and the day he was picked up.
Part of the investigation, unfortunately, as we talked about, we're not able to share specifics, but what we can tell you is that we have evidence that he was there during the time of the actual homicides.
You said there were no signs of forced entry. Are you able to say any more about how he got into the house?
Unfortunately, we're not able to talk about that at this moment.
Is there any indication?
Y'all don't know. The reporter asks, you said there was no forced entry. Are you able to tell us how he got in the house? How did he get in the crib, man? How did he get in the house? Oh, I'm telling you, man. Our law enforcement be lazy to the mud. They just tell us anything. We supposed to just be like, all right, cool. Nah, man. I need to know. They don't know. They don't know. Don't listen to what people say. They don't know about you and me. Put it at your mind, cause it's jealousy. They don't know. Man, they don't know nothing, dog. All they know is that this dude car on the GPS is in the proximity of that crib, and that's all they know, man. They don't know nothing else. Nothing definitive. And he's a surgeon. He's a vascular surgeon. The boy got enough money to get a lawyer. All right, let's keep it a buck. He living in an apartment, but he can pay for a lawyer. You best believe he can.
Interactions with the kids, or the kids may have seen or heard.
Have evidence that he was there during the time of the actual homicides.
You said there were no signs of forced entry. Are you able to say any more about how he got into the house?
Unfortunately, we're not able to talk about that at this moment.
Is there any indication he had interactions with the kids, or the kids may have seen or heard anything at this point?
We don't have that information. Again, part of the investigation, there's just certain things we can't talk about.
Neighbors had said that they had seen McKee in the neighborhood and in front of the Tepe home days before the homicide. Can you confirm that?
At this time, we're unable to talk about specific information, but again, when we get additional information, we'll be more happy to share it to the public.
I know this is an ongoing investigation. I don't know if you can say this, but obviously they were divorced. Are you able to say anything about their relationship after that divorce? It was in 2017. Were they civil? I know he had a second wife as well.
Again, there is.
So he did have a second wife. Okay. Whoever this court reporter, this reporter right here, shout out to her. I could not think for the life of me, like, dude, was this dude married again? Yes. He had a second wife. What is, I'm like, Trakisha, I feel you. Unless this dude snapped, had a whole flashback. I don't understand the motive. What up, Starfish? They will have ANPR tolls, gas agencies. Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to figure out, why would that be? If you have a photo of me driving, I'm headed to go unalive somebody, y'all. Okay. I'm the first person of interest. You link my car to the GPS proximity of this woman's house. Okay, December 30th, you got the phone call. You got 2 911 calls, actually. The first one was a well check at 10 a.m. You didn't see nothing suspicious. You left. Then 911, you get another phone call because people start hearing kids in the crib. You didn't hear kids. You was there at the house. You didn't see nothing suspicious. You didn't hear no kids. Okay. Then all of a sudden you get another phone call from a neighbor in the same area to check on the same house. Then because they hearing kids in there. I mean, I live in Chicago. I'm a surgeon. I live in Chicago, and I'm driving from my Chicago place. No matter, even if I took a detour to try to fool you, the GPS in my car is going to tell you everywhere I went. Your GPS is never off. The GPS chip in your car is never off. Just stop it. Okay? Just stop. Just stop thinking you got safety and security and privacy. You don't. Okay? So just get over it. You don't. Big Brother been watching us since Big Brother been watching us. All right? Look, Big Brother been watching us since we've been watching Big Brother. Remember the show Big Brother when it came out years and years ago? They still watching us. That was a shadow. That was a foreshadow of what's to come. That TV show was a foreshadow of what to come. Cameras that can see your every move. You can't hide nothing. We know when you're lying. We know when you're eating. We know when you're exercising. We know when you're passing gas. We know when you got a pee, when you got a dookie. We know everything. This is exactly what's happening right now. You ain't got a photo from a toll that's like, yo, we want to know, like, we want to do some deep, thorough investigation. This is the reason why people hire private investigators. This is the reason why people hire private investigators, because they're going to go way beyond just what is in front of them. They're going to unpack what's in front of them. Like, come on now. This whole, we can't speak on this at this time until we get additional information. Additional information is different from more information. Additional means something that wasn't there before that you're going to have to discover on your own. That's additional. More information is we already know what's going on. We're just going down the rabbit hole and we're discovering more things as we go with what we already know. If you need additional information, you don't have nothing. Have you ever tried to do anything online and it says additional information required? Those fields that needs additional information are blank. They're blank fields, which means you have to put information in them that they never had before. That's additional information. She didn't say more. She said additional. Did you peep what she said, man? God, this lady, boy, this is some nasty work already, man. I'm already suspicious. Even, let's say, for instance, he did it. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this is not a confidence to the people that he did it right now. You need too much more. You need additional information. Go.
It's just certain things we can't talk about.
Neighbors have said that they had seen McKee in the neighborhood and in front of the Tepe home days before the homicide. Can you confirm that?
At this time, we're unable to talk about specific information, but again, when we get additional information, we'll be more happy to share it to the public.
I know this is ongoing investigation. I don't know if you can say this, but obviously they were divorced. Are you able to say anything about their relationship after that divorce? It was in 2017. Were they civil? I know he had a second wife as well.
Again, there is, the investigation is still ongoing. Just understand, we're still collecting information. We're still going through a lot of evidence, and there's just some things that we can't speak to right now.
So why say we resolve the case? Or why say we feel like we resolved the case if you know you don't have enough information to get to? This is going to trial anyway. It's about to be public anyway. You might as well just say what you got. Oh, my bad. You can't say nothing because you ain't got nothing. You got a couple things. You got a few things. You got a handful of things that seem like you just knocked the case out, Johnson, right? But you don't have enough evidence to tell the people that this man did it. Whether he did it or not, we don't even know yet. Even if he did do it, you still didn't give us enough information off the jump to give us the confidence that he actually did it. So you got to give us more than that. Starfish said that his second marriage was failing and he was looking to pick up back with his ex-wife. How come you know that and this lady don't? Maybe she do and they ain't saying nothing. Is that what it is? Come on, man. Why do a press conference with questions? Just release a press release and roll out. That's it. Why have a whole press conference? You know people going to ask you questions just for you to say, we can't answer any questions at this time until we get additional information. Again, this is an ongoing investigation. Then why you arrest this guy? Is it because this is a family in the burbs and it's a couple and they're loving and they all good and you have to save face? You got to do something. You got to have a suspect quick so that way you can ease the minds of the people in your community. That's what it feels. That's what it feels, seems, and sounds like.
Talk about the extradition. Will you be going to Rockford and pick him up, and when will that happen?
I'll let you speak to that.
Sure. We have policy related to extraditions. Felony warrants out of state are primarily handled by extradition companies. And so the determination of whether or not it will be detectives from Columbus or an outside entity, likely an outside entity, but the logistics are being worked out as we speak.
Any idea when that will happen?
I don't know when that will happen.
What kind of weapons did you find in his home?
We can't speak to specific weapons, but we did recover multiple weapons from the home.
This is really irritating me. This is really irritating me. You police investigators, you have already told us that you found 9mm casings at the house. This reporter is asking you. You said you found multiple weapons. Can you tell us which weapon you found that's connected to this guy? And you hit us with the "we can't answer this right now" joint.
From his property.
How quickly was McKee a suspect? I know that family told us they pretty much assumed that it was that he was behind this crime.
What I can tell you is that every piece of evidence, every tip that we received, we immediately began to investigate it. So I can't give you a specific timeline, but any information that came in was immediately evaluated and investigated.
Are you able to say about how many tips you received? Obviously, people became really attached to this case.
Do you know specific numbers?
While we don't have an exact number of the amount of tips that came in, because some of them were the same or similar. So it was numerous, and it was from multiple sources, which was greatly appreciated from the community, the media, the past individuals that were knowledgeable and familiar with the family, and then the residents of the area, which ultimately led us to this day right now.
We don't believe that's in that photo.
Sorry. We know digital forensics and DNA play a big role in investigations these days, but it doesn't happen in 60 minutes with commercial breaks. Is there any sense of the timeline of when some of that information will become available to you guys through that testing?
We're continuously looking for information.
That lie got caught in her throat, dog. That lie got caught in her throat, man.
Waiting for information. Unfortunately, we can't give you a specific timeline, but we're continuously working to get that information in.
The family mentioned that Monique previously said that he had been abusive towards her in the past. Was there any evidence or indication of that prior to this incident?
What I can tell you is that we did not have any reports, and we did not have any information related to any type of incidents regarding the ex-husband and Monique.
Can you tell us if McKee and Mrs. Tepe had any contact leading up to this incident, months, weeks?
Any stalking concerns there?
Again, what we can share with you, we are sharing with you.
You don't even know if this man was stalking this woman. Now, according to according to Starfish and Coffee, all right, because the police ain't telling us nothing. According to Starfish and Coffee, his second marriage was failing, and he was looking to pick back up with his ex-wife. Now, I don't know why he would do something like that, because his ex-wife already got kids and then moved on with a dentist. So I don't understand where his mind is at the time. And again, he could be one of those crazy, narcissistic, outside of his mind men, all right, who has no regard for anything emotional, sympathetic, or empathetic. However, where is the evidence? Okay, this press conference is really disappointing. Okay, where is the evidence, man? You can't even tell us if he was a stalker. I mean, my God.
There are some things that we can't share for investigative purposes, but what I can tell you again is that we didn't have any reports or anything linked to that specific location as it relates to the ex-husband and Monique Tepe.
What? So you have no stalking reports from this woman at all about this guy?
Is the person in the video that you shared the person of interest?
We do.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Columbus Police wrapping up an update on the.
Man, my wife just reported me up a drink. I'm like, God dang, a little heavy hand there. God. I'm just messing with you. I'm sorry. Nah. It's a great conference. They are talking and saying nothing. The whole point. Yeah, I get it, but it's still crazy. It's just, you know why I don't like this is because of the fact of this. When they did a press conference on Diddy, they had a thorough presentation. I mean, my thing is just have a thorough presentation of what you about to do, of what you found, or what you're gonna say. You're saying nothing. Okay, we have enough of that in this country. A bunch of people saying nothing in powerful positions. We have a lot of that in this country. All I'm saying is we tired of it. Shout out to Starfish and Coffee, though, man. Shout out. I ain't coming down on you. I'm just saying. Oh boy. All right. So look, check this out. So that was the conference. That was the press conference about Mr. McKee. Again, I believe he's already been extradited, right? So he should be, I believe, in Franklin County in Columbus, Ohio. Now, I have been seeing a lot of different. Well, matter of fact, let me do something real quick because I wanna go to something. I want to go to something because I was looking at an interview that Ashley Banfield did with the brother-in-law of Spencer, right? And I kind of want to tackle it a little bit to see what the deal is, right? Well, let's look at this real quick. It's about a 4 or 5 minute, interview or whatever. And let's tackle this real quick. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to Banfield's, her own podcast. I think it's called Drop Dead something. Hold on, give me a second. Her podcast is called Drop Dead Serious. All right. And she goes into this thing thoroughly. So we're going to get into this like a little bit more thoroughly. So I want to just run this. I want to run this because we got nothing from the cop. And there is like a bunch of different residences and like condos and stuff that he was renting or stuff like that. Like he had a rental property in Vegas. Wait a minute. Yeah, he had a rental property in Las Vegas. And they have a mapping that shows the rental property. Then he moved from the rental property in Vegas. He still stayed in Vegas, but he went to a different place. He also had like some type of office in Vegas as well, where he practiced. He had his license had got expired to practice medicine, then it got reinstated, and then it expired again in June 30th of 2025. He had a malpractice lawsuit as well that he went through before. And he was able to evade the lawsuit, which was interesting. So for some reason, this guy is like, he has a way of weaseling his way out of things, it seems. Yeah, affidavit of due diligence. He was in California from office in California. He's been a very bouncy guy. Like he's been around, you know what I'm saying? So that doesn't make him look good either, right? The house, yeah, it was a house that he had a deed to that he bought in Vegas as well. The same house he rented, he bought, or he, had a mortgage on it or whatever. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff that he's done. It's like signatures and everything on here. So I have that information too as well. However, I'll just share that because I don't want to take up too much time tonight. I know it's Thursday and people got to go to work on Friday, tomorrow morning. But I want to run this interview real quick, and then we're going to go into Banfield's podcast, Drop Dead Serious. And then we're going to go from there because this is very, very interesting as well. So let's go ahead and get into this. Here we go. This is the interview with the brother-in-law. I believe his name is Robert Misla. He was or may be a person of interest. If anybody knows a lot about this case, please again, let me just throw it up there. If you know a lot about this case, all right, please go ahead and send some information to your boy at this email on the screen. I've done some research myself and I got some things myself. However, I am always open to more information. Yeah, this is very, very interesting stuff. So at some point, this guy was a person of interest, I believe. And now all of a sudden, I don't think he is anymore since they have Michael McKee arrested. But yeah, this is very interesting though. But let's go ahead and check this out.
Rob Misla is Spencer Tepe's brother-in-law. He's married to Spencer's sister, and he's live with me now. Rob, I am so sorry that we are meeting under these circumstances. Have you learned anything new tonight about who this potential person of interest might be?
No, unfortunately, I know just as much as the next person. I was told by a reporter about 10 minutes before this got posted that it was released by the police department. And, when I first saw it, yeah, I do think, suspicious looking person there. It also very well could be, somebody walking home drunk from a bar. But it's evidence nonetheless that hasn't been released until now, and it's
got a hand in the pocket,
kind of progressing through this.
And this is right between 2 a.m. and 5 a.m., which is the window they say they believe the shootings happened. Rob, do you or your family members have any idea who might have been capable of doing this? Did your family have any enemies? Did Spencer and Monique have any enemies at all that are known?
Not that I can speak on or know of. I know that they've had this massive community around him that
hold on, this boy got a cigar. What kind of that looked like a Liga Provider number 9 from Jewish State. That looked like a Liga Provider number 9 from Jewish State right there. I'm telling you. Like this is interesting. Yo, catch me at the speed. Tell you who's talking. What up, though, Lufkin? Listen. So, is this you, Luke? Lucas, is this you? Lucas, is this you? Put a 1 in the chat, man. Lucas, if this is you, man, put a 1 in the chat right now, dog. This is it. Lucas is my coworker, y'all. This guy is insane, dude. I love this dude, man. Him and Quincy, man. I love these. These are 2 young bulls, man. They good young brothers, man. This guy Luke is crazy, dog. Appreciate you stopping by, bro. Appreciate you stopping in, dog. But yes, like this right here. The person that's talking right now, the person that's walking is allegedly Michael McKee, who is, the one that's being arrested, that has been arrested for the alleged murder. Allegedly, he is accused of murdering Spencer Tepe and Monique Tepe, who were married, and he's the ex-husband of Monique. And so this gentleman right here is Rob Misla, who is the brother-in-law of Spencer. He married Spencer's sister. Okay, so that's who's talking right now. And we're just trying to figure out why and what and when and what type of person he was and what type of couple they were and things like that. Just trying to get a little bit more clarity on the motivation, because that's still muddy right now. The muddiest part of this whole case is the motivation. Now, this is interesting though. 2 failed marriages, a struggling businesses, and a surgeon with a God complex. All right. So it's possible what Trakisha said earlier. That's very possible this dude snapped. Look, unless he snapped and had a flashback, right? So it's possible this dude did snap. It's very, very possible. So, we don't want to leave that. We don't want to leave that out, all right? Because it is very possible that this guy had one of them days and was like, you know what, it's over. It's a wrap, So that's the thing right there, man. All right. Do me a favor, everybody that's watching, please like, share, subscribe to Tay-Biz TV. We have a lot going on tonight. We're talking about the Tepe murders that happened in Columbus, Ohio. The 911 call was called, 2 911 calls, excuse me, on December the 30th of 2025, concerning the fact of a well check visit from the police concerning Spencer and Monique Tepe. If you would like to, super chat to support the channel, you could Cash App. You have all the information is in the description of this video. If you would like to support the channel, but mainly hit the like button. All right, let's support the channel that way. It's free 99. You can always do it. It is what it is. All right, let's go.
They were just so well liked and admired by everyone. You can see in this picture, that's kind of defines them. They were always smiling. They were always laughing. So it's really just unbelievable and shocking to all of us when we found out. I still, a week later, still doesn't feel real. I can't believe I'm like here talking about this. So,
I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all. What do you know about the little kids? Spencer and Mo had 2 little ones. I mean, I think one is 1-year-old, the other one is 4. Do you have any idea what they saw, what they experienced in that home?
We do not. I know, they have met with some people.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, y'all. I got to stop, man. Shout out to my boy Lucas, man. Hit me with the $5 super chat saying say less. Bro, I really, 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 really appreciate that, man. Like, you rock with your boy for real, bro. I really, really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, Luke, for first of all, watching your boy, stopping by, and also being a part of it, man. I appreciate you, dog. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
People to talk. It sounds like I can't really talk on any evidence, but we've had them with us for the past couple of days. They're with some other relatives at the moment, and they were just as happy and unfortunately unaware as they ever could be. But they're in loving hands, and even more people are coming by their side to make sure that they're taken care of. But yeah, it's just heartbreaking for them.
That's huge what you just said. It sounds to me like they did not see the carnage. This isn't going to be a lifelong memory for them. Were they spared even the visuals of what happened?
As far as I know, I don't think that they were. I don't think that they saw what happened, or at least I want to believe that with my heart. So.
Yeah, or the aftermath. How has the communication been with the police? Have they been updating you? Are they helpful? Are you as in the dark as everyone else?
Personally, I have not been communicating with police, but somebody from the family, is kind of on that role. I just think, we understand that it's a process, and these things they take time. There's a lot of pressure, obviously, but they want to get it done right. And we're grateful for them for the work that they do. It's not easy, and it's sometimes, scrutinized very heavily, but we trust their process that they're going to get this right.
I just wanted to tell our audience, Rob, that we were just looking at wedding video. And as I understand it, this was video that you, as a filmmaker, shot and produced. I mean, it's beautiful. And it's just so hard to believe that we're having this conversation, seeing the stunning work that you put together for this beautiful day of theirs. I know I speak for my audience as well when I say I hope that you can get some resolution and some justice in this. And I hope we can stay in touch on this.
Yes, thank you. We all appreciate it. And again, just thank you for the outpouring of love that we've seen. It's been just amazing for the entire family as we're trying to get through this tough time. So thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our new.
Yo, first of all, shout out to Trakisha for sending your boy a Cash App. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm about to go ahead and respond to it right now with the love. Thank you so much for sending Cash App. I appreciate it so much. Thank you all for supporting your boy, man. I'm very surprised by my boy Lucas, aka Lufkin. All right, Lukefin. I'm sorry, Lukefin. I'm sorry. So but no, man, this is that was the brother-in-law of Spencer Tepe, okay? And so we want to get into, because I think there's some new arrest details, excuse me, and evidence, I believe, that was dropped today, sometime today and yesterday, where it talks about, Michael McKee, Spencer and Monique Tepe, right? And I'm pretty sure they're going to mention something about the fact that there was a previous lawsuit of malpractice that he was able to evade. Okay. As a matter of fact, I think I had that lawsuit. Let me see. No, I don't have that lawsuit. I have the case information. But I do remember seeing the lawsuit, and I do remember seeing how, even though his name was involved in it, he was not accused of any malpractice or anything like that. He was able to evade that. So I'm pretty sure that's a thing that's going to be brought up at some point, right? And just to give a pattern of behavior and a pattern of misfortunes and things that could motivate him to do this, right? Again, having malpractices, lawsuits, and all this kind of thing after a divorce, second failed marriage, and then, losing everything, and then all of a sudden it just takes a toll upon you. My only thing is, like, why Monique? Why not just Monique, but her husband too? And you did not harm the children. The children were in that home. Okay, so we're talking about people who are very familiar and very involved in the Tempe's life. I mean, this man had a dentist office, and people who worked at the dentist office with him or for him, they're like, hey, we've been calling him and he hasn't been returning our calls. That's not like him. That's not normal, and so we need to figure out what's going on here. And that's the reason of the phone calls and the 911 calls and things like that. So again, Michael McKee lives in Chicago, but his car was found at Monique and Spencer Tepe's house in Columbus, Ohio, in Wayland Park, moments before and after the shooting occurred. Now, what's interesting to me is this, and I want to know what you all think about this before we get into the Ashley Banfield podcast. What's interesting to me is this, is that there is no 911 call of a gunshot. The 911 calls on December 30th was for a wellness check from the police. They didn't see nothing suspicious. They left. Another phone call comes in and says, we hear children crying, or we hear children in the house. These are the neighbors, okay? These are the neighbors. So somebody walked up to the house, knocked on the door, did something. And they're like, we hear children in there. No, there is no 911 call that I have seen or anyone have reported of a gunshot or any type of gunshot in that neighborhood. We're talking about a suburban neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio. Wayland Park is a suburban neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio. There was no report of a 911 call of a gunshot in that neighborhood. 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, I just heard gunshots from a neighbor next door. Did someone mistake the gunshot for fireworks since it was the end of the year, New Year's, blah, blah, blah? That's possible too. But there is no 911 call of someone shooting. I find that very, very interesting that there is no 911 call of that. You feel what I'm saying? I find that very interesting. But Banfield is going to, this is the Drop Dead Serious podcast. All right. Let's see what she says and what she uncovers in this particular podcast. Okay. Let me go ahead and level up on our quality here. All right. Gonna speed it up a little bit here. All right. And let's buckle up, man. I think we're gonna go for a ride tonight. Let's go.
Just going to muddle through it. I'm going to apologize for sounding icky because I do have a lot that I need to share with you. This story, I can't quit this because I still am not, I have a Koberger feel in that I'm not satisfied. I still don't know why Koberger did it. And even though we're learning a lot in the Spencer and Monique Tepe murders in Columbus, Ohio, I'm still completely flummoxed as to how and why anybody could do this, let alone if it's true. If it is this ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee, how and why would he do it? It's just so bizarre. There's so much that I have yet, to get answers to. And frankly, I think that's why we're all so obsessed, right? For sure, it was a mystery in the beginning who did this. But then the arrest of Dr. McKee just made it more mysterious. Like, why? How? Same feeling I have with Koberger. Why these people and how? Anyway, we did get a lot of answers today from the Columbus Police Department. They held a news conference, which was like, thank you. That's the kind of thing that we're used to in America. We are part of the process. We're not hidden from it. So I was very happy that they did that. And they answered the question I've been asking, I think on every one of these episodes, right? Haven't I said, I want to know, is it Michael McKee? Do they believe Michael McKee is the one who's hulking down through the back alley at the time of the murders in the vicinity of the crime scene? This was the guy, a person of interest we were all supposed to somehow look out for and let the police know if we recognized something about this mysterious character who took great pains to keep his face covered. At the end of his walk, you can really see him pull his hood down and hide from whatever cameras might be around. Well, today, Columbus police said, yeah, that was him. So there's one more allegation that they've got him walking in the vicinity, not just driving a vehicle connected to him, right? So the other walloping piece of information the police confirmed today, and this one I did not expect them to tell us. I am like, holy cow. They told us they found weapons in his home. And not just weapons, plural. They found one that was linked to the murders. So I just got to stop there for a second. We're all close, right? We all know this true crime business pretty good now because we're in this community. Who murders someone and keeps the weapon in their house? Like, I'm not indicting this Dr. McKee guy, but if he's the killer, who the F would keep the murder weapon in your apartment? That's nuts. And what that tells me, if he's the killer, he is one dumb ass killer. You might be really smart in the OR. You might be really smart at university in your medical practice, in your medical school, but damn, brother, you don't know about our business. You don't know a thing. You're an X to start with. You would be inside the tightest concentric circles. And you kept the murder weapon in your house? Again, he's innocent until proven guilty, but what?
Yeah.
Okay. What it also tells me is that because he's that dumb, if he did this, he probably left all the usual suspect clues behind and dragged all the usual suspect clues from the crime scene. So this is going to make it like way more of a cakewalk than, say, Koberger, whose study was criminology. Like, look, he tripped up, really tripped up in so many ways. But in a lot of ways, he didn't, right? He bought software that wiped out a lot of his profile, wiped out a lot of his communications. Thereby, we can't find the motive. We can't find if he'd been stalking the kids in the 1122 King Road. But that was a criminology PhD, and he knew the business of committing crimes and investigations. This guy, unless he watches forensic files, in CSI, it kind of looks like if he's guilty, he didn't know shite. And it ain't like it is.
He's a vascular surgeon. He knows nothing about this. And let's be clear, Michael McKee is not a criminal. This man has no criminal record, and the only violations that he has are like traffic violations and things like minor stuff. This dude has never been arrested for anything. Not for anything that's criminal related. So that's why I'm like, this is one of those snapped things, like he just snapped. It seems like they're leaning towards that, because I'm with Trikisha. That's the only way I think his motive is he snapped. 2 failed marriages, losing businesses, like Starfish and Coffee said. Like you just snapped, bro, and you went to where it all began in a rage, which is, again, this is like very, very disturbing. You know what I'm saying? Very disturbing.
On TV. They do a couple things on TV, but it isn't like TV. So I'm going to get into more of that in a minute with some amazing guests who know way more about it than I do. But also, I was super interested to hear the police chief make a very quick mention to something that stood out like a beacon for me. And almost like she slurred through it. Unless you know the business, you might not have caught it. But she said the NIBIN system was what they used to connect his gun to the murder scene. The NIBIN system, yeah. So again, I know because you and I simpatico, but the NIBIN system is like a DNA database for guns. It is the baby of the ATF. So just think about like the DNA database that finds bad guys and connects them to crime scenes. NIBIN does that with ballistics and weapons. What is interesting though, and I'm going to get deep into this in a bit, this guy is squeaky clean, allegedly till now. He didn't have a blemish on a record. He doesn't even have a record. I think he's got a speeding ticket, maybe nothing. I mean, listen, the guy's squeaky clean till now. His background is clean.
Right, exactly. I like what she just said. Blaming her for his life messing up. Right, exactly. Like that's what it seems like. He snapped, and he like, you know what? None of this would have happened unless if this divorce wouldn't have happened. And blah blah blah. Who knows what went on in his mind, because we have not heard the other side of the story. But we're speculating here. If he is blaming her for his life being the way it is, that right there is crazy. Crazy. And this would go back to the snapped idea of, okay, he snapped. But the interesting thing is that he has pled not guilty. So he has a side to the story that he wants to tell. All right. You are in this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. And everybody needs to remember that. Otherwise, when you get in trouble, you're going to want everybody else to remember that. You need to remember that too when it comes to other people, because you're just 1 point away from somebody else saying you did it before you have to get a lawyer. So we're not gonna play high and mighty on this channel. What we are going to do is just listen to the whole story to figure out what's what. But this right here, this comment is on point. Like, you can't blame somebody else for your life. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they was in your life at a certain point too. And it's like, no, you got to evaluate yourself, not just the other person. You know what I'm saying? So
how would his weapon be a NIBIN, right? Weapons are a NIBIN when they get them from crime scenes and bad stuff happens. So I've got a really good answer to that. We also have some new arrest details.
We need an answer.
I kept wondering, who and how are they going to bring this guy in? Who's going to do it? How are they going to do it? Did they go to his apartment? No, they did not. Or if they did, they didn't do it there. They went to his place of work. And we're learning he was coming off shift. So he's arrested in the morning. So he's doing the overnights, right? He's in there on a Friday night till Saturday morning. And it turns out he's coming out of the hospital and he's headed somewhere. And wait until I tell you what these cops got a beat on as they're tailing him. And it's the ATF. There's another whole story. Why is it the ATF? I got that for you too.
Wow.
But they're tailing him.
Interesting.
And they go behind him and he stops for lunch. So we know where he stopped for lunch, and we know the people who saw this happen. So we're gonna get into all that as well. The people who witnessed the spectacle probably had no effing idea, like that the guy they were collaring was for some murder, 6 hours away. Got another detail too that now makes sense, and I think we're gonna learn a lot more about it. Apparently, Monique Tepe used to refer to her ex-husband in a very specific way after their divorce. It wasn't Dr. McKee. Let's just say that. And so I'm going to get into that as well in this episode. There's a lot to get to. And again, I'm just going to apologize for sounding this way, but at least I didn't call in sick, right? Okay. One other big thing I'm going to tackle. And I'm super fascinated by this because even after 38 years of doing this work, I still learn things. But your right to remain silent is golden and everybody should use it. I don't think McKee did. I can tell you he didn't, not at first. He did when they cuffed him. And that I get. Anybody knows if you got cuffs on you, they're reading you your rights, and you usually, not always, but usually, if you're smart enough, you take them. Yeah, you just climb up till you get your lawyer. But the way it works when a murder happens is detectives do the concentric circle expansion. They start with the two victims and they say, okay, who's close to them? Do they have exes? Are they having affairs? Do they have enemies? And so Natch, the ex, is going to show up by just doing an Accurant or a LexisNexis, and you're going to see she was married. So they would call him as par for the course for an investigation. They'd give a call, not thinking that he's the killer, but wanting to know, where were you that night? We just got to take you off the list, you know? And so he, according to Anjanette Levy from Law and Crime, gave a bogus alibi. And that tells me that he talked to them. He gave them information. And it turned out to be bad information. It turned out to be a lie, which is usually, you know, it makes you the focus of a murder investigation. So I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that first conversation. Hi, are you Dr. Michael McKee? Is it? Yes. Hi. What can I do for you, officer? Right. Well, we're investigating a murder. I'm so sorry to be the one that, if I'm informing you of this for the first time, but it's your ex-wife, Monique Tepe. She's been killed in a double homicide. Oh, heavens, that's terrible. What happened? Whatever. The next question would be, would you mind me asking, where were you on the night of December 30th? Oh, and this is where it begins. What does a murderer, I'm not saying he is one, but what does a murderer say when posed with a question that has no good answer? They lie. They give a bogus alibi. And sometimes they're even more helpful. And they just open the floodgates. Help. I'm with you. I'm on your team. What can I do to help? You know, all that. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that now that I know he kept allegedly a murder weapon in his apartment after a double murder, that he was dumb enough to just yammer on, just yammer. Let it ride. Just go, bro. Because everything you say is your record, and you cannot then deviate from it. Right? But I'm going to go into much more depth with this. With one of the most famous defense attorneys out there is Mark Garagos. He said some of the most high-profile crimes, high-profile defendants. And so I'm going to talk to him about all the questions that police ask. And if they're asking just to get information and get the truth, or if they're asking to lock you in because they have their suspicions. Probably.
All right. Let's move on a little bit.
Opposed to illegitimately. And honestly, Mark Garagos, I think the most famous case that he had to mop up a disaster was Scott Peterson.
Tell me about the morning. Okay. I don't know what time, probably Lacey got up and went and assumed that she had to show for breakfast.
What you're telling me, Scott, is you have no idea where this is.
Because Scott Peterson left a trail of lies, right? There's a hot mess behind him. And, you know, there's the defense attorney left to juggle it all and try to navigate a defense that would make sense. And Scott Peterson talked to police. So you'll hear Garagos in a minute, but honest to God, like, even if you're innocent, you just shouldn't talk to the police because it can be twisted in all sorts of ways you can't imagine. It's a business. They're in the business of solving crimes and getting convictions. You're in the business of staying the hell out of jail. Think of it that way. Okay. So once again, we got a lot to get through in this episode. So let's just start right from the beginning. Okay. When police hold a news conference about major cases, especially when they're still in flux, like the Spencer and Monique Tepe case, people on my side of the camera, we do two things. We focus on two things. We focus on what the investigators say, and we focus on what the investigators don't say, right? In the don't say column, when police in Columbus, Ohio faced reporters for the first time since the Tepes were killed, they declined to reveal any motive. Okay, I got that. Doesn't stop us from obsessing over why a vascular surgeon from Illinois allegedly gunned down his ex-wife and her current husband 2 states away, nearly a decade after they parted, right? Chief Elaine Bryant of the Columbus PD, she did call the murders, quote, a targeted domestic violence attack. That's telling. And she did say that police recovered weapons, plural, from Michael McKee's penthouse condo in Chicago. Do you remember this incredible condo I've shown you in the last episodes? Man, It's a stunner. It's in one of the prettiest and most expensive areas of Chicago. It's in an upscale building with a doorman and a pool on the roof and a barbecue area on the roof and all that, filled with professionals, the building. And his apartment in particular was beautiful. The Zillow pictures are like, wow, like real estate porn. He had this great view of Lake Michigan, and it was just a lovely place. So
if you look at the thumbnail of this video, there in the case information docket is where I dox the address to that place.
yeah, I mean, I still say, what on earth could have gone so wrong? How could you have possibly, if you're the killer, have taken the weapons back to that apartment and kept them for 11 days? And I'm going to get to all of that in just a second. But first, a quick thank you so much for being here. You really do make this True Crime Podcast possible. And also, thank you to my sponsors who make this Banfield. I talked to Matt Murphy, who is a former homicide prosecutor in California, and he knew right away what they would be doing. He was way out front on this. He had the answer. Have a listen.
What's really interesting, actually, is there is a system known as NIBIN, and that's the National Ballistics Database, where they take shell casings, assuming it's a semi-automatic handgun. We don't know that yet. But the shell casings that get expended on those, they're like DNA for firearms.
Okay, now fast forward to this morning in Columbus, Ohio. And here is that police chief that I was talking about, Chief Elaine Bryant.
And there's a preliminary link from our NIBIN to one of the weapons that ties it to the homicides.
Blink and you'll miss it, but there she was talking about that NIBIN database. NIBIN stands for National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. I know it's a mouthful. National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. And as Matt Murphy said, it's like a library. It's like a database that can trace bullets and shell casings right back to the guns that fired them. For now, the make and the model of the gun that killed the Tepes is in the don't say column. This might, however, answer the question as to why it was ATF agents who made the collar and arrested Dr. Michael McKee last Saturday near the Rockford, Illinois hospital where he worked. We do know that the ATF could narrow all this down to a 9mm gun, right? Because that's the shell casings that were left behind at the murder scene, 3 of them. But in a minute, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how the ATF grabbed him, because there was some drama. I had envisioned they'd knock on his door at home and get him there. And then I heard, no, they got him in Rockford, Illinois. And I thought, well, that's embarrassing because that's where he works. Did they go into a hospital and arrest a vascular surgeon right out of the OR or right out of the hospital? And I thought, I don't think so. I wonder how it happened. Well, now we know. And I'm going to tell you all about it. And it's actually kind of intriguing. I didn't expect a vascular surgeon to go to this place for lunch, but okay, that's coming in a minute. But now I want to turn to something that really struck me as super interesting in that police press conference. One answer that was definitive and one answer that was not, but spoke volumes nonetheless. The definitive answer was that there have been no police reports made from the Tepe home about Dr. McKee stalking or harassing Monique Tepe before the murders. But when the reporters asked if there had been any communications between Dr. McKee and Monique Tepe, this was the answer that the police chief gave.
Can you tell us if McKee and Mrs. Tepe had any contact leading up to this incident, months, weeks?
There are some things that we can't share for investigative purposes, but what I can tell you again is that we didn't have any reports or anything linked to that specific location as it relates to the ex-husband and Monique Tepe.
Well,
no information. No information linking. I mean, dog, that's like so important. That is so, I hope we all understand this, and we can have our own speculation on the type of man he was or is. I'm hearing the police chief say there was nothing that we have that even remotely speaks to the fact that this man and this woman were talking to each other leading up to this. That's a very definitive thing, man. Very definitive thing. And that's important, especially because this case is going to trial because my man is pleading not guilty. This is very important for a trial lawyer to know. Were you talking to this to Mrs. Tepe? And if he say no, and then we go to phone records and the phone records is opposite of what he said, then the defense is going to have to come up with a story to wrap around his no. But if he legit don't have, or they don't have any type of evidence that they talked to each other leading up to the shooting, it raises an eyebrow to the thoroughness of the investigation. Not saying the investigation is wrong, but is it thorough? And does it bleed confidence into the people of the community that pay the taxes for you to do what you do for us? That's the important question.
That's interesting. So no reports ever came from 1411 North 4th Street about Dr. McKee.
Right.
But did any reports maybe come from other locations about Dr. McKee? I don't know. Maybe we'll get those answers soon. And also, did you notice how the police chief hedged a little on that question of communications? She said, quote, "There are some things we can't share." But she had just shared that there were no reports that had come in about Dr. McKee in that area. But the minute she's asked about communications, well, I can't share. So that tells me that there may very well be. Is it possible that there were contacts between McKee and Monique, or maybe between McKee and her husband, Spencer Tepe? Wow, that would be a lot to learn, and I think we will learn these things in the days ahead. Then I want you to listen to this this question from the press corps. I thought it was interesting. I am suspicious as to whether there was any casing of the home beforehand, allegedly by Dr. McKee, before, as police say, the murders happened. But the reporters asked about neighbors, and that apparently neighbors had actually seen Dr. McKee around the Tepe's home beforehand. But here's how the question was asked.
Neighbors had said that they had seen McKee in the neighborhood and in front of the Tepe home days before the homicide. Can you confirm that?
At this time, we're unable to talk about specific information. But again, when we get additional information, we'll be more happy to share it too.
Not surprised that the police chief didn't answer it. They're going to keep a lot close to the vest. There was another question, though, that came from a reporter. I don't know what to make of it. I'll be honest. Everybody and his dog is doing a very deep dive on this story. Everybody's pulling court records, documents, criminal histories, marital histories, all of that, right? We're pretty good at this. Sleuths are amazing at it. Reporters are great at it. Like we all, crowdsource this stuff. But there's one reporter that asked a question that really stood out to me because it sounded like she knew something that the rest of us didn't. Have a listen.
I know this is an ongoing investigation. I don't know if you can say this, but obviously they were divorced. Are you able to say anything about their relationship after that divorce? It was in 2017. Were they civil? I know he had a second wife as well.
Again, the investigation is still ongoing. Just understand, we're still collecting information. We're still going through a lot of evidence, and there's just some things that we can't speak to right now.
Did you hear the reporter? I know he was married again.
Second wife.
Second time. Like, that's not something any of us has found. And let me tell you, we have been digging like grave diggers. I mean, we have looked and looked. We have not found another marriage. If anybody knows who's watching, by all means, leave something in the comments. I would love to hear what you have to say about it and what you may have found. But so far,
Nah, dog. That reporter who asked that question is legit. She is legit. There was a second wife. Now, you best believe that second wife is going to be questioned a lot about this guy. You better believe it. And according to our Starfish and Coffee in our chat, the second marriage failed. Prosecution might be able to use that.
nobody has found that Dr. Michael McKee was married again. So that might have just been an ill-informed reporter asking in that way, or just syntax. I don't know. We may hear more details, though, about Dr. McKee, and I'm crossing my fingers on this one, because he's got a first court date in Ohio coming up. It was scheduled for Monday of next week, and I'm recording this on January 14th on a Wednesday, but now they've rescheduled. They've pushed it ahead to Friday, the 23rd of January. So, gotta be patient on this one. But apparently who's ever in charge of moving Dr. McKee, extraditing him, they can't seem to do it very quickly, even though the doctor waived extradition. So he's okay with going. It's just the apparatus isn't all in place. A lot of reasons for that. They're not that freaked out. They got him. He's locked up. There's no concern. But it's just such a close trip. Like, that's what's so weird. He allegedly made the drive himself in just 6 hours, give or take, between Christmas and New Year's. But they are taking their time to get that extradition in place to get him back to Columbus, Ohio. And earlier on my News Nation show, I talked to former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Koffendorfer. Here's our conversation. Okay, Jennifer, I thought of you right away after the press conference, and I asked myself, I wonder what Jen thought of that. So I'll ask you, what does Jen think of that?
Well, I'll tell you what, I agree with you. Her not answering some of those questions right off the bat and being very specific made me think they have so much information related to an intersection between these two at some point before the murder. Maybe that was that proximal event I always talk about that happened that ignited this action that he took.
Talk to me about NIBIN, because I've always been under the impression that NIBIN, again, this sort of ballistics dating site, right, for lack of a better description, really got weapons that are out there from bad people doing bad things that already got arrested and those weapons went into the register. This guy, Dr. Michael McKee, is clean as a whistle. He doesn't have a scratch on his record.
You know, when you think of using NIBIN, that's typically in gang investigations and violent crime investigations where you don't have any clue who somebody committed it, but you have these casings that could connect to another crime. That's what we think of using NIBIN for. But the fact that there is an intersection here tells me that perhaps he bought this weapon at a pawn shop. Perhaps he bought it from a friend of a friend who somehow was connected to some time where that weapon was used, and NIBIN considered it important.
For folks who watch the show on a regular basis, I think they're going to know the answer to this question. But for folks who are kind of getting into the true crime space, a lot of people would wonder, why are the police so tight-lipped? They say they caught their guy. He's arrested. He's not getting out on bail. What's the big deal?
This is a big deal. Right now, they are looking at interviewing witnesses, anybody who saw or knew anything or understood that there were any issues. The minute you start releasing details about the investigation, you no longer know whether the individual you're interviewing is providing details that they really knew, or was it something they heard on the news. So it's very important that they stay tight-lipped at this stage.
And also that ever-present preservation of a prosecution. You know, if they, look, Koberger, they didn't get to prosecute him. It was just a deal. But if this goes to trial, you need to really hold your cards close to your vest. You got to share the discovery with the defendant, but you don't got to share it with Ashley, you know. So I'm super curious about the confirmation today that the police said it was Dr. McKee, in their words, that skulking figure in the back alley. What is your estimation from your law enforcement background on how they determined that that was him?
Well, first of all, always, he has had this extremely unique gait. When I say always, I mean in all this film we've seen of him, from the beginning of time, he had that left foot that curved in, kind of pigeon-toed, has a very long gait, and you could tell he was a big man, not a small man. In addition, look at his clothing. It is unique to him, and I believe it was likely the clothing and maybe even that shoe tread that you touched on a few segments ago that led them to know this is him.
So at the end, I'm just going to tell the viewers, watch the very end, what he does with his face. And he looks away, takes his hand up, kind of covers his face, pulls the hoodie down. I mean, that's a big telltale too. Look, in cold weather, I do that too. I grew up in Winnipeg. But if you are leaving a murder scene and you know there are cameras, this is kind of the behavior you might actually emit.
Exactly, Ashley. From the beginning, when this person of interest, you know, was identified by law enforcement, to me, this person was so important. He was right near the crime scene at the time of the crime. And the way he acted like he was trying to hide and was guilty of something. So definitely a person of interest, a suspect.
So my guess, Jennifer, is there's a team of detectives still working this case and fanning out to try to figure out more material that will help prosecutors. They don't have to prove motive, but juries really want it. Who are they going to be interviewing to try to determine if there was, well, we know there was, but the extent of the acrimony between Monique Tepe and her ex-husband, Dr. Michael McKee? How will they find all that?
Well, they are going to start with everyone, Ashley. They have to go clear back years from when they were first married, identify mutual individuals, try to figure out if there was any sort of pattern of domestic abuse that then led to this. Obviously, they've been divorced now 9 years, but did he express to anybody the anger and resentment that he must have harbored if indeed he committed this crime? And what did she say? Has she told anybody about her concerns about Mr. McKee? Was that something that, you know, she left on the table for them? All of this is going to be explored by law enforcement.
Every time I see that wedding picture, I'm just so sad because she just seemed so happy in this new life. And then there are those two children who don't have those two parents anymore. Jennifer Coffendorfer, always appreciate this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ashley.
So while all the legal machinery grinds forward slowly, the people who knew Monique best are finally starting to speak. And they're finally revealing, you know, a portrait that is far more intimate and also more unsettling of who Michael McKee was long before she and her husband Spencer were brutally gunned down in their bedroom. Anjanette Levy, who's the host of Crime Fix on the Law and Crime Network, recently interviewed Monique and Spencer Tepe's brother-in-law, Rob Misla. And when that brother-in-law talks about Michael McKee now, he does not hold back. He calls him a monster. According to Rob, Monique never referred to Michael McKee by his first name. Not after that divorce. Not once. She wouldn't say it. And that may sound small, but family members say it speaks volumes about how she viewed her ex-husband and how much fear may already have been there.
Right.
Listen to how Monique and Spencer Tepe's brother-in-law, Rob Misla, describes Michael McKee now.
And why was the Tepe side of the family so certain that he was the primary suspect, that he was going to be the person that law enforcement arrested and charged?
And again, yeah, I'm just trying to speak to the Tepe side of the family because, Monique's side had obviously a different relationship with her. They've known her since she was born. For us, we met Monique in 2018 when Spencer first introduced her to us. But we were fairly certain because of just what Monique had told us stories wise of her. She never called him by name. She would just call him her ex-husband, and just how much of a monster he was, to be honest, emotionally abusive and threatening. And, she did everything she could to extricate herself from that situation. And, met Spencer and lived a very happy life. But I can't speak for Monique, but I know that it changed her as a person. And perhaps it was always in the back of her mind. I don't know.
Had she ever spoken to you about it, or Spencer, or did you just hear about a lot of this after the fact?
No, we were aware. She wasn't shy about talking about it, and how it had impacted her kind of mentally just as a person going forward. So we had all heard stories and had talked to her deeply about these situations, but at the same time, we were all thinking this is something in the past. And Monique is clearly happy right now and has a family and is with the person that she loves. So while we were aware of it, we were also more awestruck by the couple themselves and how much they were in love. So
did Spencer?
So we're going to move forward a little bit more because I want to get to some other parts of this. I mean, I understand he's pretty much reiterating and putting more emphasis on the fact that Michael McKee was a very, disturbing individual when it came to his marriage with Monique, and how she responded to him, in a very dismissive way, like not saying he's mine, his name, just being say, hey, ex-husband, like that. So that speaks volumes, though. That speaks mad volumes, man. I'm gonna get into this part here because I'm curious to what this is. Oh, let's go.
We will find out. Certainly, that's the kind of information you do want to know, because if it's ATF, are they worried he's still got a gun and that he would do something if he saw that he was surrounded? So naturally, my intrepid producer, Lindsay Haller, found the Chick-fil-A and dialed up the Chick-fil-A. And Lindsay, you got a hold of somebody who works there. So Lindsay, when you call Chick-fil-A, give me a feel for that conversation.
I called Chick-fil-A not even knowing if I would get somebody on the phone, but when someone answered, I asked if they could tell me if Dr. Michael McKee was arrested at the Chick-fil-A. And the young man on the phone, he said, well, I can't confirm or deny, but there was a very large police presence out there. And I asked him a few more questions and he really couldn't answer. And just when I was hanging up the phone, I said, all right, thank you so much. He said, my pleasure. So very on brand for Chick-fil-A, that's their phrase. So yeah, they're really
So
doing
polite.
the Lord's work.
You know what I got to say, so often in these big chains, no matter whether it's a store, a restaurant, whatever, they get corporate guidance very, very quickly. And oftentimes it is no comment, do not speak to the press. So I can understand, why he'd say, I cannot confirm or deny. But I've got to be honest with you. Anytime anybody says, I cannot confirm or deny, it usually means it's because it happened. If it didn't happen, he'd say, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing like that happened here. Sorry. Have a nice day. You get a little more surprise. Somebody who's savvy and says, I cannot confirm or deny, usually means they've seen something and they're trying to be careful. And then after that, Linz, we got the confirmation anyway.
Yeah, from the ATF. They later gave out the address and it was for that specific Chick-fil-A.
Was it give the description of how close it was to the hospital where he worked?
So they are on the same side of the highway. It looks like if he turned out to go one direction, the Chick-fil-A is on the same side of the highway, literally just 7 minutes away. So maybe that's a couple exits down, something like that. It looked very close.
Well, fast food for a vascular surgeon. I guess you can get healthy stuff though at Chick-fil-A. My kids love it. I don't eat there. I have my own favorite. I hate to say it, it's McDonald's. I just
You got arrested at a Chick-fil-A. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Let's go ahead and look into this extradition. If she plays it.
Charged with her murder and her husband's murder. And one of the first questions they ask is, where were you on the night of the crime? Some killers clam up right away, but others turn on the charm and they just spew a whole bunch of lies. The same impulse that leads certain people to kill can also lead them to try to talk their way out of trouble. And that may have happened already with Dr. McKee. Anjanette Levy of the Law and Crime Network reports that Dr. McKee gave the police a bogus alibi, an alibi that didn't hold up. But at their press conference, police said that by the time they actually put him in cuffs, he did invoke his right to remain silent. So he got wise. But had he already said too much before he was in cuffs? I can tell you this much. If the surgeon told police something like, no, officer, I've never set foot in the Tepe's house, and if hypothetically his DNA, his hair, or even a tiny little fiber from some piece of clothing he owns is found in that house, his goose is cooked. What else might Dr. McKee have told the police along with the alleged bogus alibi? This is what keeps Mark Garagos up at night, right? He always says, call your lawyer before opening your mouth, and it's for a very good reason. Earlier on my News Nation show, Banfield, I talked to Mark. He's a legendary defense attorney. He's co-host of the podcasts Two Angry Men and Reasonable Doubt. Here's our conversation. Mark Garagos, that was the first thing I thought of, was that has this guy possibly painted himself into a corner because you know the police call the exes first?
They always do. And people always, unfortunately, have this reflexive need to kind of talk and basically talk themselves or paint themselves into a corner. And unfortunately, I've said it, I can't tell you how many times, on the federal level, they almost never record what you say. So it's your word versus their word about what you said. And then when it comes to local, sometimes they hear something, you didn't mean it that way, it doesn't come across that way. It's a no-win situation. You do not talk yourself out of something. You only talk yourself into something.
Can I ask you this? And I'm sure you know it because you've seen the transcripts over and over in your line of work. What's the first question police always ask the ex when they make contact?
They always want to know, was there trouble in paradise, basically. There's always some form or derivation of how was the relationship? What was the relationship? When was the last time you saw her? And they go down the usual litany of questions. And people always think they're going to spin it. They're going to do whatever. I mean, I understand the urge. I mean, nobody wants to be, imagine if you didn't do something. Nobody wants to be falsely accused. And imagine if you did do something. You don't want to talk yourself into it. It's just a no-win situation most of the time. And obviously there are exceptions. There's no hard and fast rule in every single situation. But it almost inevitably in these cases, I can't tell you the number of times I've sat in a trial, in a murder trial, where the words of my client come back, and that is what you spend the whole time having to explain, having to interpret, having to provide context, and basically doing the battle that you never had to do.
All right. So she basically going to just ask him more questions about his thoughts and things of that nature, which we pretty much can gauge. But this case right here is very interesting, you know. And again, even though they have the ballistics from Nibin and they say it's linked to his gun and they say all these things, but the one thing that strikes me is that, there's no evidence at the actual home that he broke in or that he did anything and things of that nature. So I'm pretty sure they're going to link it all together. Him pleading not guilty to this, even if he knows that he did this, but is really stupid. If that's the case, all right. If that's the case, again, in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty, and so the benefit of the doubt is what they go by. But honestly, man, this is not overall. This case, this case is really, really interesting. Yes. She said, I'm ready to see how this case unfolds. Yeah, I'm the same. Shaniki, I'm the same. I'm curious as to how they're going to prove that he was in the car, even though it's his car. But the distinctive walk on the camera might be a thing that, the distinctive, the miles that it was like 325 miles away where she lived from where he lived or from where he was at. and to drive all the way there and to park your car in the vicinity of the house. But there was no break-in of the house. There was nothing suspicious. There was no broken windows. There was no broken door. There was no broken knobs. There was nothing suspicious. While there's nothing suspicious, there's also no sign of any children inside as well. Remember, there was a second 911 call where they're like, hey, you definitely want to go back to the house because we're now hearing children. You see, so a lot of this is very, very interesting, to see how this unfolds. I'm going to definitely keep you all posted on, how this case is going. There's a hearing, another court appearance on the 23rd, which is Friday. And so we're definitely going to cover that as well. All right. We're very interested in this case. I want to thank everybody for stopping by. My boy KP in the building told us to level up. My man Lucas, man, my co-worker, man. Lukefin. I appreciate you, bro, for just sharing the $5 cash app. I'm sorry, the $5 super chat. And then Trukisha for sending the cash app to your boy. I really, really appreciate the support and the love that you all, give me. I'm just a guy that's trying to, make sense of things, and we're the common sense jury is what we are. You know what I'm saying? Here at Biz Nation, we use our common sense, we use our common knowledge to see if it coincides with the lawyers and with the judicial system that's set up. And so we want to make sure that we are all on the same page with that. I love everybody. I love you all for coming by and stopping by. And those that are not, those that have been watching but in and out, I appreciate you all too. Thank you all so much for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed what we covered today. This here, man, is very interesting. This is Michael McKee, who has allegedly drove all the way to Columbus, Ohio, in a suburb, to gun down his ex-wife and husband. Kids go unscathed, and there is no evidence of forced entry into the home. That's very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Man. All right. But I'm your boy Tay Biz, man. I appreciate you all. I hope that you all love yourself, love your enemies, man. It's your boy Tay Biz. Peace.
I brought that with me. Case they get too iffy. Baby, don't stress, don't sweat it. Put it all on my baby. Know how I'm coming, and they know what we had. Around through that left side, low end. All of mine need more wins. If you got beef, don't come out. Cause my young hitter might go in. Uptown GN, working all through my weekend. Hoping these don't show out. Cause all of my hitters too deep in. With a boy, I'm so ashamed. Ain't worried about long as my money and my green. Baby, I ain't got work tomorrow. Tell me what the business is. Ain't about no club hop. I'm trying to start some businesses. Shorty, you thought it was, they better know it's not that. Talking all that online, they knowing that it's not fake. Sliding through my hood, I make maneuvers like a Uber, baby. Got a 10-year plan, these can't tell what they doing lately. And I'm way too clean, I'm Listerine, I thought they been knew it. All in my lungs, I got my red cup full of that Henny fluid. Young middle Mac, I'm swinging that leg, I'm banging that do or die. And I ain't that bleedly before I get crucified. Living in my bloodline, this place in my family tree. How the they pressed, I did my best out of what they handed me. Straight out of that country, know my shawty dick as human air. And I need not mention no extensions, that's human hair. Boy, we grew in there.